But I was studying ahead, or behind actually, to get to 17, and I got to 16. And there's so much in 16 that you kind of need to do 16 to go into 17. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to start with 16. Let's have a word of prayer and we'll get started. Our Father, we thank you for your blessings of being in your house this morning. We thank you for your love and your goodness. I thank you for all those that have gathered together this morning. They've given up their time, their morning to be here, to hear your word preached and taught. Father, I pray you bless them for that, for the sacrifice they've made. Father, we just pray it'd be a good day in your house as we listen to your word preached, listen to your song sang. And Father, that you would just give us a good day. And we thank you and praise you for it. I look forward to what you'll do throughout our day. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So John chapter 16, as I said, it is a prelude to 17, because 16 comes before 17. But if you think about it this way, when he does the true Lord's Prayer in chapter 17, it is so full of information as he's praying to the Father. It's really one of the only lengthy recorded prayers of our Lord. We talked about him praying all night, talked about this prayer and that prayer, but the 17th chapter is just beginning to end, word for word, his speaking with the Father, right? And it was recorded for us, but keep this in mind, all right? Turn back to chapter 13 of John. Chapter 13 says, now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things unto his hands, and that he was come from God and went to God, he riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. So chapter 13 begins immediately after this. And this is the washing of the feet of the disciples. And so this all takes place, 13, 14, 15, and then 16, take place on that night of Passover. Chapter 17, where I need to be here. Chapter 17, let me read this. You don't need to turn there. We're going to look at some other verses here in a minute. But in chapter 17, actually the end of chapter 15, they talk about going out, right? And he's going out to the Mount of Olives, where he'll sweat as a great drops of blood, and he'll be with his disciples there. So all this is taking place over a period of time. So this is basically his last time of instruction to the disciples, right? Because once they go to the garden, and once he prays, and once Judas shows up and betrays him, and he's taken away, that's pretty much the end of his personal time with them. Now there's a little bit here and there after the resurrection, but this is prior to the crucifixion. This is it. Now we all know, usually when the last thing is, hey, you're getting ready to head out the door, and you're sitting people down. You're saying, okay, this is what you need to know. This is I'm giving you everything I got right now, because this is it. We will not have this time anymore. So chapter 13 on, he eats the Passover and identifies the betrayer. Verse 26 of chapter 13, he identifies Judas. Jesus answered, he it is to whom shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said Jesus unto him, thou doest, do quickly. So he identifies Judas right there. Verse 34, he gives a new commandment. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you. that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. Now, say that's a new commandment? I thought we were always told to love each other. Yeah, we were. But he says, love each other as I have loved you. See, we couldn't have done that before because what he had done and what he was getting ready to do had never happened before. So we couldn't love like that before. So that's why it was a new commandment. And it's not just love each other, but love each other as I have loved you. Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So you get the idea that it's a love of not just, I love you, brother. No. It's a love of laying down. Greater love hath no man than this, a man lay down his life for his friends. And that's not just talking about dying. It's not just talking about, taking a bullet for somebody. That's talking about laying down your life to the extent of, hey, I'll put whatever I want on hold. I'll lay aside everything that has to do with me. I'll forget what about me, and I'll be more concerned about you. And that's that love that he's talking about there. And then in verse 38, he foretells Peter's denial. Verse 38, Jesus answered him, wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. So that's the early part of the meal. Chapter 14, he begins. Now remember, this is his last instruction to them. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. So he begins this little discourse here by saying, hey, don't let your heart be troubled. I need you to have your heart in the right position here. And how do I do that? You believe in God, believe also in me. Then he goes through the John 14:1, 14:2, about the many mansions. And he says, I go to prepare a place for you. 14:6, one of my favorite verses in the Bible. He gives us the words of Christ. So whenever someone says, well, I believe there's multiple ways to heaven. Well, they don't agree with Jesus. They don't. I'm sorry, they don't. Because Jesus said out of his own mouth, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. That is that's an exclusive statement. That's it. He says this is it. There is no other way but by me. So he establishes that. He wants them to understand, don't get caught up in thinking there's any other way. I am it. That's part of that. Verse number 13. He gives them the power of prayer. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments. So he's established some things here. Chapter 15, verse 5. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit, for without me ye can do nothing. What is he telling them here? You're going to have to abide in me. Church, disciples, founders of this movement that we're getting ready to spread out across the globe, make sure that I am the center of this. You cannot bear fruit unless you abide in me. Now, we can bear fruit in our flesh. Can't we? Yes, we can. But is it fruit that remains? The answer is no, it's not. It's not fruit that remains. So, there is power in this flesh, and there's ability. I was telling somebody the other day, I knew a missionary. And I'm not going to tell you his name, but I'm not picking on him, but he told me this. He said, I had gotten so good at planning churches that at one point in my missionary career, I picked a spot, said, I'm going to go here, I'm going to plant a church. He said, I went there. He said, I'm not sure God was anywhere near that. But he said, I had the system down so well that I went there, I set it up, I got it organized, and boom, I left the church when I was gone. But I don't think the church lasted any length of time. It did not remain, but he did plan it. And he told me, he said, I had gotten really good at, I had gotten the system down to where I really kind of did it outside of, and we don't want to like to say this out loud, but he kind of did it outside of God, if I can say it that way. And I'm not saying, yeah, obviously God had some, if he's using God's word and all that, but I'm saying really, he told me, he said it was a lot of me. And that is possible, but it's not going to be anything that remains. So that's the secret of fruit bearing, abiding in Christ. And then in verse number 12, We see the promise, our command to love one another, verse 12 of 15. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. We talked about that. Chapter 15, verse 5. Commanded, chapter 15, verse 12. I have yet many things to say unto you. But, I skipped a verse, I'm sorry. And then we go down to the promise of persecution. Look at verse number 20. 15:20. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. And then look at verse number 27. And ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. So he talks about the promise of persecution, and then he says, but you're going to be a witness because you have been with me from the beginning. Right? Now, that is all his little introduction, right? All night. This is a hey, we're sitting together, and I'm going to give you all this information right now. Chapter 16 immediately precedes the Lord's Prayer in chapter 17. So, I mean, he's leading up to this time when he's going to God on their behalf. And what does he say? And that's where we're going to look at chapter 16 right now. He says, these things have I spoken unto you. So everything that I just said, I have said it for this reason. All right? Everything that I just told you in 13, 14, and 15, that's why I told you these things. All right? I'm building up to this. I've taught you all that to get you here. And what is here? All these things, all that I just said, this is why I spoke it. So the topic of the instruction, that's point number 1. What's the topic? Why am I getting ready to tell you all this? Look at verse number 1. That ye should not be offended. Everything that I just told you has been designed to get you to one point, that you not fall away. Verse number 1, that you should not be offended. Stay faithful no matter what. Hey, all this is going to happen. I just told you over in chapter 15, verse number in 21 and 27 and 20 and 21, that this is going to happen to you. Don't be surprised. There would be no reason for any disciple to ever look at each other and like, man, I can't believe this is happening. There would be no reason for that. Much the same reason for us, there's never a reason for us to look at us and say, man, I can't believe the world's gotten this bad. You can't? But that's been promised since the beginning. I can't believe people turn on us like this. You can't? That's been told since the beginning. That has been the promise for the believer since Jesus was sitting here talking to them. But not be offended, not fall away. Matthew 11:6 says, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Matthew 13:21. Many people, this is the parable of the sower, and people dispute, okay, are they saved? Are they not saved? Verse 13:21 says, yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while, for when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended, and he falls away. Matthew 24:9 and 10. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So it was common knowledge that this was going to happen. Perhaps that's why the disciples were able to go through what they went through, still praising God, still loving God. If you ever read Fox's Book of Martyrs, why could they go through that? Because they had armed themselves with that mentality that it was going to happen. So he tells them to stay faithful. That's the topic of the instruction. Verse 2, he tells them to prepare for persecution. I like verse 2, the beginning part. They shall. That's very definite, isn't it? There's no guess about that. There's like, now this might happen to you possibly. This could, but I'm not really sure, but there's a good chance. No, he says they shall. They shall what? Put you out of the synagogues. They're going to cut you off from everything that you believe in, everything that makes you a Jew. And you say, that's no big deal. It was to a Jew. I mean, that was basically, hey, they're dead now. They're a death sentence to us. I was reading something the other day about the prodigal son, and it said, when the father said, my son was dead, now he's alive. I've been told, and I haven't researched this, and you may have heard this, that there's like a ceremony where they officially declare them dead in the Jewish faith and in some of the other Muslim faiths, some of the other faiths over there. They say, no, they have a ceremony and say they're dead. Legally, they're dead. They don't even belong here anymore. And that's why the father said he is dead, but now he's alive. So he tells them to prepare for persecution. Luke 6:22, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Jesus said we're blessed. We're blessed when they do that to us. Why? And why are they doing that? Cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Now, this is if we're living for the Lord. Yeah. Not if we're just obnoxious and nasty. This is talking about living a life that is pleasing to God, and that's why they're persecuting us. So he tells them to prepare for it because it's going to happen. Romans 10:3 says, for they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. That's verse number 2 when he says, they shall put you out of the synagogue. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God service. So they're going to stand up before God and say, hey, but we did this for you. That's how bad it's going to be. Think about this. Religious people kill because they're godless, because they're ignorant. Anything that denies the Lord Jesus Christ is anti-Bible, is anti what we believe from this book, is anti-Christ. Anything, any religion that denies the Lord, and that's why he says that whosoever killeth you will think he doeth God service, and they're killing them because of their relationship with Christ. And think about all the religions of the world that kill and destroy Christians out of ignorance and out of the fact that they're godless. Verse number 3, how do we know they're godless? And these things will they do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me. So that is what causes that, is that ignorance and godlessness. The religious people, the religions of the world who don't have Jesus and who don't have God, and that's why they're doing it, but they're ignorant and they're godless. If it's not Christ-centered, if it's not Christ-focused, it's false. We were out driving around yesterday. Where were we at? Loveland? Yeah, all over. Loveland, Mason, back roads. When your GPS tries to take you to a destination, it is taking you every back road and every roundabout. And I hate roundabouts because I get confused every time I go through a roundabout. And she's like, just count the roads. I'm like, I can't count the roads when cars are coming at me. And I always get turned around. And I always wind up having to make a U-turn somewhere because I miss the road because I forget how many I've counted. And it's a fact. Where was I going with this? Oh, all these churches that I passed. And we kept passing, and I'm like, well, that one's false. That one's false. That one's false doctrine. That one has a rainbow flag in the front yard talking about harmony. Okay, I know that one's wrong. But yet they're everywhere. And a lot of them were full yesterday. But if they're not focused on the Lord, on Jesus, they're false. So you can't say it. Well, yes, I can say that. The Bible says that. I'm not saying it. The Bible says it. So he says the religious will do this. John 15:21, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they have not known him that sent me. So they're doing this for his sake, but it's not real. Chapter 15 or 16, back to verse number 4. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. So the timing of this, why now? What's the end of his ministry? Now's when they need it. This is when I have to give you this. You didn't need this before, but I'm getting ready to go away. And when I go away, you're going to need this instruction. Luke 21:12 says, but before all these things, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up from the synagogue and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. They're going to do this, but it's going to be your testimony of how you go through this that's important. The timing was important because he's leaving, and they need this right now. Verse number 5. Verse 6, the troubling of this instruction. Verse number 6, but because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. This troubled them, and it should, right? I mean, as a human, it's going to trouble you because you don't want to go through that. Troubling them so much, look at verse number 4, the latter part of verse 4. Verse number 5. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asketh me, whither goest thou? But because I have said these things, sorrow hath troubled your heart. So he basically is kind of getting on them. You're so sad about this for yourself, you haven't even bothered to ask me, hey, where are you going? How are you going to the Father? You really forgot about everything that I told you about me because you're sorrowing about yourself. So caught up with self and what you're doing and what's happening to you that you really haven't even asked the Lord, whoa, you're going where? And so he kind of instructs them on that and kind of gets on them for that. Luke 24:45 says, and when he arose from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow. Luke 24:17, when he's speaking to them on the road to Emmaus, and he said to them, what manner of communication are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad? So he's asking them about their sorrow there. And then Psalm 27:1, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is my strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? So he's telling them that, hey, this is going to happen. Sorrow hath filled your heart. But it doesn't have to. Point number 4, the truth of the instruction. Look at verse number 7. Nevertheless. You know what that means? I don't care about any of that. None of that matters. Your sorrow, all this, what you're thinking about yourself, nevertheless. None of that's important right now, all right? The persecution, the sorrow that you have, everything that you're thinking of right now, none of that's important. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you, but if I depart, I will send him unto you. This would be the truth of the instruction. Okay, guys, I know you're sad about this, but I don't really care about that right now. None of that matters. I'm going away. And the reason I'm going away is for a purpose. Your sorrow is not important because it's necessary for me to leave in order for me to give you the Comforter, because he can't come unless I go. Verse 7, it is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you, but if I depart, I will send him unto you. So he had to go, but we're sad that you're leaving, but that doesn't matter. Because if I don't go, I'm giving you something better. And why was it better? Well, we know that Jesus was God, but in human form, what was he limited by? A body. What was he limited to? Interaction one-on-one with his disciples. But as the Holy Spirit's here, we all have access to that. And I don't need to call Chad and say, Chad, we got to get together because we need to talk to Jesus one-on-one. Well, he's not here. But if he was here, there'd be a lot of geographical issues for us to get together to get with Jesus. But with the Holy Spirit, we don't have to do that. We have access freely together no matter where we're at. So the truth of the instruction is, don't be sad because what I'm getting ready to give you is better than what you have now. John 14:28, you heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If you loved me, you would rejoice because I said I go to my Father, for my Father is greater than I. 2 Corinthians 4:17, for our light affliction is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Verse number 8. What's the Holy Spirit do? And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not in me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father and ye see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. He will reprove the world. That's what it says. He will convict or chastise or draw. That's what the Holy Spirit does. Acts 1:8 says, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses. Where's the power come from? The Holy Spirit. What's the purpose of that? To be a witness. So the Holy Spirit, he says here, and he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. Of sin. Going to convict them of their guilt. Convicting them of their guilt. Now, there's two ways to look at this. He will reprove the world of sin. Not just pointing out their sin. All right? Not just saying, now you know you're a sinner, but like a prosecutor would go after a criminal and say, this is what you're guilty of. Like somebody had to do for us. This is what you're guilty of. This is what you've done. And this is the judgment upon that. But I have good news. That's the rest of the verse. Of sin and of righteousness. Hey, you're guilty. That is the message of the Bible. And I'll get ahead of myself because I really want to get into this in a minute. Of righteousness, that's the truth about Christ. What's he say? Of righteousness, because I go to my Father and you see me no more. Part of that resurrection. Hey, he was who he said he was because he is not here anymore. And what do we point to as the evidence of Christ's resurrection? An empty tomb. And what do we always say? There's no other leader, religious leader that can say that. We use that as an example of, hey, he had power over the grave. Nobody else had that. It was his righteousness. And of judgment. Of judgment because the prince of this world is judged. So judgment is coming. And this is the message that we give out to the world. Hey, you're a sinner. Hey, Jesus is righteous. And hey, judgment is coming. And that judgment doesn't apply to me. It'll apply to Satan. And it will apply to you as well. And there's no escaping from that judgment because of the sin, except for what's in the middle, and that's of the righteousness of Christ. That is a message that we proclaim. 2 Timothy 4:2, what's a preacher's job? Reprove, rebuke, exhort. I just wish you would tell me something good. Reprove, rebuke, exhort. That's kind of that message here, isn't it? And what is your message, not just to the congregation, not to each other, what is your message to the world? To reprove them, to rebuke them, and to exhort them that there's a way through Jesus. Now, what we do is, well, I just want to give them a nice message because it might encourage them a little bit more. Was that the message of the Lord? What did he say to the Pharisees? Whited sepulchres full of dead men's bones. Called them a generation of vipers and snakes. So, well, that was the religious. No, that was the people who thought they were going somewhere because of what they did, not because of anything else. That was a message. That was his message to those who believed in their works to get them to heaven. And guess what? If it's not of faith, it's of works. If anybody's trying to get there, no matter what name they put on it, if they're trying to get there through any other way than Jesus, it's a works-based salvation. And if it's a works-based salvation, then the job of the Christian, the job of the church is to call them out. I know speaking the truth in love, but it's still to call them out. I was called out when I got saved. Nobody sugarcoated it. They said, you're a sinner. And you sin, and you're going to hell for that. And if you don't get saved, you're going to die and split hell wide open. It might have been a little kinder than that, but it was still the message that was preached. And he says that's what the Holy Spirit is going to give. You know what? Look at John 7:7. John 7:7. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. That was Jesus. I thought he just sat around and told people how much God loved them. I thought he was just a lot of flowers and rainbows. Not what he preached, was it? No, he wept over Jerusalem. He wept over the sinner. But what's it say here? Why does the world hate him? He said it hates me, verse 7. It hateth because I testify of it that the works thereof are evil. What was he doing? He was reproving and rebuking. He was doing what the Holy Spirit does over here in verse number of 9, 10, 11, of sin, reproving of sin, of righteousness, and of judgment. Remember what John the Baptist's message was? Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. John the Baptist was out there saying, y'all are bad, and you got no hope. What did he tell King Herod? You can't do that. You're wrong for your brother's wife. You're wrong. Cost him his head. He went out speaking the truth. That is the message that the Holy Spirit is going to deliver. Now, what's in us? Holy Spirit. What's our power? Our Holy Spirit. What's that power for? To witness. How do I witness? Reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. John 3:8 said, 1 John 3:8, he that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil. You know, the message of the prophets was always the same thing. Reprove of sin, reprove of righteousness, and reprove of judgment. Guess what Jesus did? He reproved of sin, he reproved righteousness, and of judgment. Verse number 12. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. Excuse me. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. And he shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. So the promise of more information to come. Hey, I have so much more to tell you. We would love to hear it. You can't bear it right now. Well, how are we going to get this? Well, I'm going to go away, and then I'm going to give you that more information. There's no way we can do this with what little information you've given us. That's right, and that's why I'm leaving, and I'm going to give you everything else that you need to do what I need you to do. What does the church have? It has everything it needs to do what God wants it to do. We have the Word of God, the completed Word of God. We have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. That is what the church, well, if we just had a better, no. We have the Holy Spirit. We have the Bible. We have the command of God. I mean, you may get tired of hearing this, but that's fine. If we just had more comfortable seating, we could get people in here. If we had a light show, if I had a fog machine, I bet I could really get, no. He says, I am going to give you all that you need. I'm going to instruct you with all that you have, all that I have. And I can't do this unless I go away. So the promise of more to come. John 14:26, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Lord will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and shall bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. 1 Corinthians 2:10, but God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of God, save the Spirit of man which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual with spiritual. So we don't need the wisdom of the world. That's wrong. We don't need that. We need God's wisdom that comes through the Holy Spirit. That is the only thing that he told us that we need. We don't go with the wisdom of man. That's wrong. I can't say it any plainer than that. That's wrong, according to Jesus. Now, look at the verses 16 through 20. We'll wrap this up pretty quick here. The tiers of the instruction. The tiers. Verse 16. A little while and ye shall not see me, and again a little while and ye shall see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of the disciples amongst themselves, what is this that he saith unto us, a little while and ye shall not see me, and again a little while and ye shall see me, because I go to the Father? They said, therefore, what is this that he saith a little while, and we cannot tell what he saith? Now Jesus knew that they were desirous to ask him, and he said unto them, do ye inquire amongst yourselves of that I said, a little while and ye shall not see me again, a little while and ye shall see me? Verily I say unto you that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. I want to look at this in a couple ways, and I'm going to close. Job 20, verse 5 says, the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Revelation 11:10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. You know, we used to read that years ago and think, they're going to celebrate because they killed two preachers? When they lit up the Empire, was it the Empire? Then they lit up the Empire State Building in purple when they decided they could kill as many babies as they want. This a couple years ago. I thought, I guess I understand Revelation a little bit better now. And that's at the end times. Pretty ugly now. And he says, you're going to have tears. Verse number 20, again. That ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful. You know, I don't want to spiritualize this too much, but think about this. What is the absence of God in a society? What's that do to you as a believer? Makes you sad, doesn't it? He's talking about going away. He's talking about I'm going to go away and they're going to rejoice, but you're going to be sad. What is the world doing right now? They're rejoicing in the absence of God from what? From everything. The absence of God from schools, the absence of God from government, the absence of God on your job site, the absence of God in public places. They rejoice over that. And what is a believer supposed to do? That should just break our heart. It should make us so brokenhearted at the rejoicing over the absence of God in our society, the absence of Jesus in our society. That should just destroy us. And he says, you're going to be sad. Verse 20, ye shall rejoice, and you shall be sorrow, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. At what? At the promise of his return. Now here he's talking about his physical, hey, well, I'm going to resurrect, and you're going to see me again, and everything that goes along with that. And we are sorrowful. You should be. If you look around and see the absence of God everywhere, everywhere, you can't find. That's why we gather. Because you're not going to find him out there. Because there's an absence of him. And that should sorrow you. But not forever. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. So there's reason for a godly sorrow. There is. We don't just go around singing sympathy to it. No. It's sad what's happening, and it should make you sad. But what do you have to look forward to? He's coming back. Now, unfortunately, he's coming back with judgment upon the wicked and the church, but on the wicked. And so what's the church's job? To reprove them of sin, of righteousness, and of judgment. That doesn't make you a mean person. That makes you a person that cares enough about somebody's soul to say, you're wrong. You're wrong. I was wrong. You were wrong. And you have to fix this. And tell them how. All right, let's pray. Father, once again, we thank you for the time to be in your house and for your word. Father, we thank you for how clear it is in its instruction toward us. We thank you that it gives us what we need to do what you've asked us to do. Father, we pray you'd help us to be bold as a witness, to not be mean, but to do what you did and to reprove and to point out, to show what's going on. Father, that's our command. We just pray you'd help us to be faithful, help us to keep our hearts and minds upon you. And Father, we love you and thank you and praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.